We're going to make some swim baits here. So we're going to put a little bit of blue in some plastic here. Going to try to somewhat replicate like a bluegill type pattern. So this is my first attempt at it. Just got these molds on Monday. I'm just going to put a little bit of blue highlight in there, a little bit of monkey milk. It's pretty mixed up, but it's basically blue highlight. So a little bit of sky blue, a little bit of monkey milk. Stir it up here. And then what we're going to do is we're going to go pour it in the molds. We're going to pour just the kind of the gill plate of the mold and see if we can't kind of represent that little bluegill area. And then after that, we got a little bit heating up in the microwave here. We're also going to do some orange, so we can kind of put a little bit of an orange belly. I just wanted a little bit more sky blue here. Like I said, first attempt at this. These colors might not work out, but we'll see how they turn out here. Get her good and stirred up here. Alright, kind of like the way that looks. A little bit of blue pearl highlight in there. Gonna go ahead and add a little bit of orange to the orange side, a little fluorescent orange by Bait Plastics there. Mix it up. Big fan of trying to keep things a little bit translucent, but being a bluegill here, it's a little bit different than what I would normally pour up. So we're gonna grab these molds one at a time, just flat side. We're going to add some blue into the gill plate. Good thing about this custom design mold that Josh Platy's designed with Clutch Swim Bait Company is that it's real easy to do some custom patterns. So we're going to put a little bit of blue here in the gill. And then we're just going to speed pour the rest here on high speed. After we put the blue in the gill there on that first one. Kind of speed past it here. A little 4x speed. Now we don't have to watch the super intricate part of pouring each gill plate. These 5 baits took me about 40 minutes, 45 minutes to pour up, and they take about 25-30 minutes to cure properly. It is a very time-consuming process. I had a conversation there with my business partner. In the middle of pouring there. Finished pouring these blues here and these gill plates. Never know how a bait's going to turn out. Just kind of put an idea in your head and go for it. And it turns out, it turns out. What's the worst thing that happens? You have a bait that you might not like, but the fish love. Or you have a bait that you love and the fish hate. So nice to be able to be a mold maker and kind of toy with some ideas here. Our first couple drops, we won't do anything crazy like this. Definitely never hurts practicing. Trying to get colors dialed in. Our first drop on this mold, we'll drop a couple shad patterns. Stir up the orange here real quick. What we're going to do with the orange here is we're just going to put a little bit of a belly color here. Just below that bluegill. Not a ton. Just kind of spread it out here. It doesn't matter if we get a little bit behind the eye socket here. We're going to put eyes in it. Glue them in later, so once they've cured for a couple days, we'll super glue in some I think we'll go with probably silver eyes on this, but we'll see what it looks like later on. Got a little bit of over rub there, so speed past this real quick. Just literally putting a little bit of orange on the belly there, right below that bluegill. Trying to keep it more of the front of the bait. What's cool is you just try to keep them somewhat close, and then once we heat it up, it kind of all blends together. So got those all poured. Now it's time to, we're going to do just a little translucent green highlight. Oops, I forgot. First we got to put some black fins in. This is just clear plastic with string glitter in it to kind of give the fins a little, uh, three-dimensional effect. The side fin comes out just a millimeter or so there, so it allows me to be able to pour this clear plastic with black glitter in there, which I really like the look of how it turns out. I've done this is my third pour now, and I've done it on all three of my pours. Might be something that I do even on a single color pour. Haven't quite decided. Need to pour those up and see what I think. Alright, got all those done. So now we're going to put the molds together, and then we are going to clamp them down. Once we got them clamped down, we're going to start with some green highlight, but try to keep it somewhat translucent here. I'm going to put this up here. Get the next batch mixed up here. Very little green highlight powder there. It doesn't take much to go a long ways. It's actually probably a little bit more than I actually wanted in there. I wanted to go with a real translucent look, but this will give it a kind of a pearlescent belly with some green highlight depending on how the light hits it. So we'll just pour a real small belly layer here. Shoot for about 1/4 inch on that belly. Like I said, this is only my third time pouring these molds, so don't know quite how these are going to turn out doing it like this, but that's why we're practicing. Gonna go ahead and speed past this real quick. Just kind of pour these in at 4 times speed here. Like I said earlier, this total pour took me about 45 minutes with the heating of all the plastics, and we're going to add a little bit of more watermelon to that green highlight and pour another layer. So we're kind of going for a 3-tone effect. Just slowly darken it. We're going to shoot for about 3/8 of an inch going down the middle of the bait here. Put just a little bit of golden orange flake in there. We're going to put a little bit of small black flake in there as well. Very little, just to kind of give it a little bit of sparkle in that center layer. Nothing crazy. Stir this up real quick, and then we'll pour this layer in real fast. Gonna pour this to about the top of the hook slot here. Leave ourselves about 1/4 inch at the top to do a darker layer. So pour that in real nice and even here. Just to about the top of that, where that tail bend comes in this bait, which is also about the hook slot top. Alright, we're going to go ahead and 4 times speed the rest of it so you guys don't have to watch how slow it takes each pour. Now we're going to darken up this last layer here, put a little bit more watermelon in there, get a little darker on the green side. So it's going to have that green highlight powder in the whole bait all the way through, so it's going to have a pearlescent look to it the entire way through the bait. We're going to add a little bit more orange flake and a little bit more black flake here as well, just to kind of transition through the bait and add more sparkle and shine or whatever to the top of the bait here. Especially with it being darker, it's going to be a lot harder to see the flake. Stir this up and go pour this last layer. And after we pour this last layer, it takes about 20 20 to 30 minutes with this thick bait to really set up good enough. A little bit of conversation there with a coworker, stirring this little bit of skin there from the edge of the pour, or the edge of the cup. Go ahead and pour this in. And after I pour this first one here, we'll speed this up at 4 times speed as well, so you don't have to watch all 5 of them get poured. Gonna fill this up to the top. And once we get close, we're gonna go fill up the tail here. Fill up that tail, and then we'll work our way back to level out the bait here. Alright, fill up that tail. Oops, kind of spilled over a little bit, but that's easy to clean up after it cures. Put a little bit more in the head here. We do have the griddle on, keeping it nice and warm so the layers bond real well. Go ahead and speed this up so you don't have to watch the whole thing here. Alright, so we're almost done with the pour here. We're going to wait about 30 minutes and then we're going to demold. So we're going to skip that whole process. So we're now 30 minutes later. Let's see what this bait turns out like. I demolded one a little early, so it didn't quite turn out because I demolded it early, but let's see what this looks like here. Alright. Not quite the bluegill look I was looking for, but got the orange in the mouth there, in the chin side of the mouth, or whatever you want to call it, throat side. Got the blue, and would like to add a little bit darker blue in the gill, maybe a little darker fin there, and then definitely need to play with my greens some. But all in all, for my third pour, I'm pretty impressed with how it turned out. Definitely got the translucent belly, and then kind of just fades into that darker green there. So looks pretty sweet if you ask me. Not bad for an amateur. We'll definitely work on some cool patterns here. But big swim baits like this, I mean, you really want shad patterns for the most part anyway. So maybe some of those clear, grassier lakes down south, get into that bluegill brim style swim bait fishing in the grass. But here in the Midwest, I think we'd rather have shad patterns. But all in all, I'm pretty happy with how this turned out. Definitely can't wait to play with these molds some more. I think the next thing I want to try to do is a crappie, but I'll definitely try to perfect this bluegill over time. But just kind of wanted to show you how these molds work. Like I said, we'll be dropping some shad patterns on ClutchSwimBaitCompany.com's website coming up in the next month. And you don't want to miss this first drop. There's going to be a little secret going with it, so you'll want to stay tuned and follow Clutch Swim Bait on Instagram, TikTok, Facebook, and then Temptation Tackle as well on all 3 of those, and we'll announce the first drop and the little secret. You won't want to miss it. So let me know what you guys think of these baits in the comments section. Kind of show off the last little bit of them here as we demold them. Kind of show what they look like throughout the light as well. It's very important that we lay these straight and hang them vertical once we get them all demolded, so that way they cure perfectly straight, so they swim perfect. These things got a really cool wobble and tail kick. Definitely can see that orange in the throat there. Green highlight throughout. I don't know. These are growing on me. Here they are in the light, hanging up. What do you guys think? Let us know in the comments. Would you throw them? What would you think about throwing them? Alright, that's it for now. Until next time, we'll see you soon. Please like and subscribe.